we've got a secret. But luckily for you, we're really bad at keeping them.
Today we're reviewing Eberron Confidential by Keith Baker. Welcome everyone, I'm Sean, this is Tony, and today we're reviewing Eberron Confidential from Keith Baker.
Now, this is an interesting one because it's more of a mechanic to add to your campaign than it is a class or a race or some of the adventures that we usually do.
The idea behind this supplement is to basically give your players a secret that they have either in their backstory or something that they're taking to their adventure, and it can give them a little bit of a quirk, it can give them some features, but ultimately it's also going to help them develop and build their character as they're playing in your campaign.
It even gives you little guides in there as to how you reveal these secrets along the way as a DM, and we think this is a really well put together one. So why don't we just get into it?
Let's do that.
Okay, and here we are. This is Eberron Confidential by Keith Baker. The artwork in here has that slight noir feel to it.
It does, kind of does, yeah.
And I enjoy that immensely with it. And I found this next part funny. So on the special thanks, this is the first thing that I saw this and went, this is going to be great.
I actually thought we downloaded like an incorrect copy of this for a second, and then I got the joke, so yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to thank blank for blank. Without their blank, this book would have never happened. So the whole thing of it being undercover is just really kind of fun.
Yeah.
But let's get into this. So this starts with a thing called secret identities. Now, the idea is you can actually print these out. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. You can have your players randomly pick them. You can assign them to people. There's stuff in there on how to do that. But some of these things give, basically each identity has a little backstory and has a little bit of a ability or something you get with it.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea behind this is that you're going to give your player this secret that they're going to have at the beginning of the campaign, and they're going to kind of keep it, you know, less of a big thing to their party. Now, it's important to note that besides the fact that it does add story to them, it's also going to add certain maybe proficiencies or maybe even little skills that they'll have. But it's the player to really kind of, you know, not really be so obvious about it, to kind of like keep that secret as long as possible.
Right. And some of these secrets are just hilarious with that, too. Some of them are cool. Some of them are really powerful. Devil Deserter, for example, is you used to be a devil.
Yeah, so it actually talks about how you used to be a devil of Shevaroth. And, you know, obviously the benefits of having that as well. But you kind of like deserted them, and now you're kind of living as this humanoid. Because of that, you now know Infernal and have proficiency in Intimidation. I really like in the italicized below, it kind of gives you possible questions you may want to ask yourself when developing the character. What kind of devil was I? Did I choose my mortal host, or was I, you know, surprised at who I became?
Right. And, you know, each one on this thing I think is great with that. The hidden dragon thing, you were literally a dragon beforehand.
Yeah, kind of a big deal.
You know, it's not even something, and you gain Draconic, and you have proficiency in Arcana. Some of these things, though, the backstories on them, we should mention this is based on Eberron content, if you haven't figured that out already, from the title. But you could put these in any campaign. Absolutely, right?
Yeah, I think what's kind of neat about this is even if you're running a homebrew campaign, or if you're running something that isn't necessarily Eberron, you can definitely easily kind of rewrite these. Like, for example, like Devil Deserter, it does say once a devil of Shevaroth, but you can just say, I was once a devil in the Nine Hells, or I was once a devil from the Abyss, and still kind of take that plot hook of your character and carry it over into like whatever setting you're playing. So it's actually really neat.
And as you continue through this, you'll notice that they actually have in here as well, you know, they give you a better description on here and some DM tips on how to actually play these things, right?
Yeah, because it's more than just getting a skill or learning a little bit about what you were in the past. It's also going to matter as to how you're going to be role-playing throughout the campaign. You're not going to go out there and instantly reveal that I was once a dragon or I was once nobility, you know?
Have you ever had a player do that? Like, not be able to hold their secret on something?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Or someone who forces their backstory into your campaign? This gives you a reason to actually keep it quiet. Yeah. This is the thing I like about it, because I would rule something as if they reveal those secrets, they may lose those abilities that they have. That's just me.
Right, exactly.
It's just kind of a thing that, you know, as it comes out or something like that in the storyline, it helps improve it.
Yeah.
Right?
Now, there are lots of different categories of different secrets, so that was just one of them. Another one is birthright. So this actually has to deal with things that you may have been given at your conception, or things that you got since you were born, and these are really interesting as well.
Now, being a Baron's child gives you some interesting things. Now, again, this is based off the whole dragon mark thing from Ebberon and stuff like that. But when you use your intuition trait on that dragon mark, roll a d6 instead of a d4.
Yeah.
So playing Eberron content, this is something that you could just kind of bump yourself up with that.
And it's another interesting thing to think about, because as you're playing the game, even mechanically, your players might be thinking like, why does he get to roll a d6 instead of a d4? Or like, why does he have proficiency in that skill? Does, you know, so like little meta things that might even kind of mess with your players is kind of a fun thing you might actually see in this. There's Dragon Mark Secret. False Changeling is one that we really liked as well.
This one's funny because you're not really a changeling.
Right,
you just happen to own a set of Shiftweave outfits. In which case that changes your whole, makeup and ability with that. There's also Lab Rat, which I think is hilarious. People think that you're a shifter, but you're not really a shifter. You were some woodland animal.
Yeah, that was gifted consciousness, basically. Yeah, sentience. Yeah.
So you have to hide the fact that you were once a, widow rabbit or something like that kind of thing. But it's kind of a neat little thing. These are a little bit... I like the birthright thing because it kind of gives you a better idea of where you came from. Yeah. As opposed to the other ones where like, oh, you were summoned here or you were that. Right,
exactly. So it kind of gives you a bit more authority as to like, how your character started and, everything that happened up until this point. So it's actually really cool.
Now, the last ones that we want to go over here are epic secrets. Now, there are other ones in this PDF as well. There's tons of them. If you look at it, it's a good like 26 pages or something like that. And they do give you markers in there to make your own as well.
Exactly.
But some of these are just great. My favorite one is Haunted by the Morning.
Kind of going back to that UA of that rogue that kind of had that ability where you can kind of randomly get like a skill proficiency or a tool proficiency. You kind of see that here with Haunted by the Morning. Right.
So essentially with it, every time you finish a long rest on that, the DM gives you a language, a skill, or a tool proficiency. And then you only have that until you take your next long rest.
Right.
All of a sudden, he gives you another one. Right. It's not like you're choosing or anything like that. But it makes for some great role play in my stuff of like, hey, come here and pick the lock. I can't.
Yeah, like you did it yesterday.
I can't now. I forgot. Like it has this like whole, I don't know, it's humorous to me. I think that's great.
Yeah, for sure.
But some of them are really kind of cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say, one that I kind of like is Chamber Operative. And again, kind of going back to this thing where you can kind of take away the Ebberon part of it if you don't want to. I like this idea that maybe you are part of the party, but you know that this group is kind of destined to do this amazing thing. And using that with your backstory, it kind of motivates you to do certain things. In this case, Draconic and Proficiency in Deception, because obviously you're lying to the party that you have no idea what's going on, of course. But a lot of these are really great. And again, of course, like the others, you get tips.
Price of Life with that. If you roll a 1 on a death save, it only counts as 1 death save.
Yeah, and you gain 1 hit point on a roll of 18 or higher instead of just in a roll of 20.
See, and this is a great thing. Each one of these is specifically crafted with it, and there's a lot of stuff that you can really do with them. But I think this inspired me to actually make my own for my players, and I love that they include the layout.
I was gonna say, very nicely at the end of the PDF, they actually give you some blank secrets in case you want to make your own, so you can kind of add your own skill proficiencies or add your own origins. So it gives you a lot of options to help your player develop their character.
Now, once again, that is Eberron Confidential. You can find this on the DM's Guild. That's pretty easy to find. Just search Eberron Confidential.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we really like this because it gives players an opportunity to kind of help develop more of their character's background. Or it might help someone kind of make one in case they're having a hard time thinking of what they want to do in the story. It's important to note that you can kind of manipulate this a little bit if you do want to make it so that it's not necessarily Eberron. But whatever you end up doing, it's a really great way of helping your players really flesh out their selves in the game.
Now, here's a secret for you. Our channel is actually put together and everything else just by the two of us every single week. And we do our best to do it. So if you like what we're doing, go ahead and hit the little notification bell. Look, I got it right this time. Yeah. Notification bell down here in the corner. And definitely make sure that you're subscribed to us. That way you'll see all of the new content that we're putting out.
Are there any secrets that you may have used in your campaign with your players or your DM? Let us know down in the comments below. We love hearing about all the little things that you might have done to your campaign to kind of help spice it up.
And remember, the best campaigns are always the ones that are homebrewed, and sometimes the ones that are kept under wraps. So until next time,
Keep brewing.